Hello, welcome to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the most successful quiz show in the world, which just could give you the most successful day of your life. Hoping to be successful tonight is Paul Harris from Bingley in West Yorkshire. He returns from last time. Paul's a business development director for a telecoms company, a job he says he enjoys very much. Paul's wife, Kathy, is also back here again. There she is, up in the audience, scowling at me. She's still nervous about Paul being reckless. But so long as he's not too reckless and manages to take a few quid home, he'd like the family to travel to some of the far-flung corners of the globe. He says he'd also like to take his two young boys to Canada to see their favourite band, Rush, play live on their home turf. That would be their favourite band, Rush, would it?
Yes, it would.
Oh, come on. How old are your kids?
7 and 10.
7 and 10, so they'd be the normal sort of age for Rush fans.
Yes.
This is you. This is Dad living out his own dream.
Well, I thought if I get you to mention it, then Kathy might let me do it.
Yeah. OK. Now, come on, serious business. At the end of the last show, Paul had only got as far as £2,000 when the klaxon went, but the good thing is that he still has all 3 lifelines. He's got a 50-50. He can phone a friend, and he can ask this brand shiny new audience. So let's see how much further those lifelines take him. Paul, fingers crossed, lots of luck. Let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? So this is the question. Question number 4 is for £5,000. You have all 3 lifelines. You got £2,000 at this moment. Here it comes. Which of these is a line of longitude? Equator, Greenwich Meridian, Arctic Circle, Tropic of Capricorn.
I think it's the Greenwich Meridian.
What was all that? Is that some sort of priest?
Well, lines of longitude come down, don't they?
You were doing...
Yeah, the others go around. So if it's... And you measure time from backwards and forwards, don't you?
So is that your final answer?
It is my final answer, yeah.
It's the right answer. Welcome back. You got £5,000. Question number 5 is for £10,000. Have a look. What name did Charlotte Church give to her first child born in 2007? Crystal, Amber, Ruby, Pearl.
I think that's going to be throwing myself at the mercy of the audience for that one.
You mean you've no idea?
No idea whatsoever.
OK, right, audience. First time Paul's needed a lifeline since he came last time. So, on your keypads, this is the question. What name did Charlotte Church give to her first child born in 2007? A, on your keypads, is Crystal. B is Amber. C is Ruby. D is Pearl. It's for £10,000. A, B, C or D. All vote now. %7 say Crystal, 13 say Amber, 72 say Ruby, 8 say Pearl. And you still are none the wiser.
Well, I have to add an inkling it was Pearl.
Yeah, well, it still might be.
Well,
it might.
I think I'm going to trust the audience.
Going Ruby?
Yes, I'll go Ruby.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Even though you haven't got the foggiest and you think the answer was Pearl. It's the right answer. You got £10,000. When you first met Kathy,
Yeah.
and asked her out on a date, she said absolutely not.
No.
I think you'll find yes.
No.
Excuse me. And then when you proposed to her, she said, are you completely mad?
She did do that.
And yet somehow the years have gone by and you're still an item.
Indeed.
What was the magic that she saw in you?
That was good fun. That was about it at the time she agreed to marry me.
Well, why did she say no and then say yes then?
Ah, right. So at the time, I was didn't quite have my financial matters in order.
How many years now?
14.
Okay. She's obviously very pleased with you tonight because your finances at the moment are in good order. You would lose £9,000 here if you give me a wrong answer. Question number 6 is for £20,000. Have a look. Tell me what you want to do. In which English county is the town of Rye? East Sussex, Hampshire, Norfolk, Dorset.
Don't think it's in Dorset.
Why not?
Actually, I don't know. I think I better phone a friend.
Okay. Now, who would know?
I'm hoping Piers will know.
Piers? Piers who? Piers Morgan? Piers...
Piers
is your great mate, one of your most intelligent friends you've known for 30 years, whose name you can't remember his surname. Piers.
That's the one.
Okay. Shall I ask you where he lives? You probably don't know that either.
I know where he lives, but he's not there at the moment. It's Piers Hill, and he's in Holland at the moment.
Ah, yes, of course he is. Silly me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But he lives near me when he's at home in Yorkshire.
he's in Holland.
Yeah.
What's he doing now then? What's he doing in Holland? Why is he in Holland?
Well, an hour or so ago he was playing tennis, but he should be hopefully in a bar, but still relatively sober.
Right, so we're ringing a Dutch bar for some bloke called Piers who's just come in sweaty from tennis.
Hello?
Piers?
Yes.
Chris Tarrant here from Who
Hello.
Wants to Be a Millionaire in England. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. I'm in Holland at the moment.
Yes, we know that. That's why we're dialing this Dutch number. But we've got Paul here in England. He's doing okay, actually. He's stuck. And he said, I know who'll know this, my friend Piers, who's in a bar somewhere in Holland.
I do hope I do.
Well, we do hope you do. But he's done okay. He's stuck on this one particular question. There are still 4 possible answers. It's worth £20,000 to him.
Okay.
Okay, right, so serious business. The next voice is going to be Paul's. You tell her the question, there are still 4 possible answers, and it's worth 20 grand. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, my pleasure. Right, Paul, 30 seconds. Fingers crossed. Your time starts now.
Piers, in which English county is the town of Rye? R-Y-E?
Kent.
That's not an option. East Sussex, Hampshire, Norfolk or Dorset?
East Sussex.
Top man. Is that definite?
I'm relatively certain of that.
Aren't you from near there?
Yes, I am. It's right. I think it's probably on the Kent-East Sussex border, but I'm relatively certain. If I'm not terribly sorry.
Yeah, good choice. Ideal, just what you want for a photo friend. A nutter from a bar in Holland. Good choice. You want to go with this man?
Yeah, he's good bloke.
Hang on, a good bloke. You said Kent.
Kent's on the border of East Sussex.
Sort of.
Yeah, I'll go with East Sussex final answer. I might regret
Rye is actually, it's the private airfield around the back of Paul McCartney's house, which is in East Sussex. You've just won £20,000. Somehow Paul Harris has got £20,000. He still has one lifeline left. He's still got a 50-50. The next question is worth £50,000. We'll take a break, don't go away. Welcome back to the second part of tonight's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where it's time for one of you at home to win £1,000 of your very own in our viewers' competition without leaving the house. This is tonight's question. Referring to quantities of game birds, how many are there in a brace? A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, D, 5. All you have to do is text GAME, G-A-M-E, and your answer, A, B, C or D, to 84644, or you can give us a call on 09012 931 As always, players must be 16 or over, and you have until the end of the show to lodge your answer. For full terms and conditions, go to www.itv.com/millionaire. Right, back to Paul Harris, who's sitting here twitching, doing rather well, actually. He came back from last time with £2,000. He's now increased it to £20,000. You've gone a bit quieter now, haven't you?
Yes.
All that early, buzz is beginning to drain as you realise this is now serious money. But thanks to your mate in a bar in Holland, you got to 20 grand. Paul, just be careful. You've got a 50-50. You are one away from £50,000. You would lose 19 of the £20,000 you have at this moment if you went for the next question and gave me a wrong answer. Question number 7 of a possible 12 is this. Who was the first British chef to be awarded 3 Michelin stars? Brian Turner, Gordon Ramsay, Gary Rhodes, Marco Pierre White.
I think I know that one, Chris.
You going to tell me?
Yeah, it was Marco Pierre White.
Sure? Before the others?
Yeah.
Why are you so sure?
Because I read an article by him where he was talking about how Gordon used to work for him, and
Yeah, he would.
yeah. But he also said that now, having been the first chef to receive 3 Michelin stars, that did he want to be bothering doing it again, something along those lines.
Sure enough to play. You lose £19,000 if you're wrong, Paul Harris.
Yeah.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Once it goes to orange, you know you cannot go back. And you could have used your 50-50. You've just won £50,000! There was a moment there when you went to final answer when Kathy up there, I thought she was actually going to faint. She wasn't a well bunny.
No, I could feel it.
Fantastic. Listen, that's what you've done. That is the minimum amount you will go home with tonight. You have £50,000.
That's fantastic, thank you.
We'll take it.
I'll let you hang on to it for now.
OK, thank you. I'll put it there. You got 50 grand.
Just very quick though, Mark and Jamie, you are going to see Rush in Canada.
With Daddy.
With Daddy. And Mummy.
Is Mummy going?
I hope so.
Yeah, good. Beautiful.
She likes him as well.
Mummy doesn't look that fussed. Mummy might rather just stay at home and watch the telly.
Very possible.
But you have 50 grand.
Yeah.
Now, you still have a lifeline. You are 5 away from £1 million. You have a 50-50 left. You know you will go home tonight with at least £50,000. Have a look at question number 8. This is for 75 grand. Here it comes. Which city is the setting for the TV sitcom Kath and Kim? Adelaide, Canberra, Melbourne, Perth.
Not a clue. Right, sorry, I knew it was in Australia.
Yes.
which is not a great help there, is it?
Yes, we can pin it down to Australia. Have you watched it?
I've seen bits of it.
Kath and Kim, Adelaide, Canberra, Melbourne, Perth, for £75,000. You can get rid of 2.
I think I will. I'll take 50-50, please.
OK, computer, take away 2 random wrong answers. Leave Paul the right answer and the one remaining wrong answer. What are you doing? Wibble, dibble, dibble, wibble.
Well, I know Melbourne's in a sort of a nicer place than Adelaide, or I think it is anyway. So I'm going to go for Melbourne.
Final answer.
Final answer, Melbourne, yeah.
You had £50,000. You've still got £50,000. You've now got another £25,000 to go with it. You just won £75,000. How on earth did you get to that?
I've got no idea.
Not the foggiest.
Had a lot of help on the way, didn't I?
Well, you played it pretty well. Yeah, you got that now.
That looks great.
It's very, very nice. They're getting nicer. Right, you got 75 grand. You've now got no more lifelines, but you are only 4 away from £1 million. Remember those days when Kathy turned you down because you were a penniless waster? Look at you now.
Negatively penniless.
She's loving you more with every question you get right. Right, question number 9 of 12 is for £150,000. You can lose money on this. You could drop 25,000, but it's always an interesting one because you could double your money here. You could win 75 or lose 25. So have a look. Question number 9 is for £150,000. Here it comes. In 2004, Anastasia Miskina became the first woman from which country to win a Grand Slam tennis event? Bulgaria, Poland, Georgia, Russia. One of those is worth £150,000. Why are you grinning manically?
Well, I'm going to have a guess. Actually, no, I'm going to cut and run, thanks.
Got a clue?
No. Well, I don't think it's Bulgaria, but that's... And I don't think it's Poland.
Got one more?
I think it might be Georgia, but... Because I'm sure somebody Russian has won a Grand Slam event.
Want to play?
No.
Okay. Give him a big hand. He goes away. Now take it this time. He goes away with this cheque for £75,000.
Thank you.
Interestingly, Kathy up there also thinks the right answer was Georgia. You're both wrong. The right answer was Russia.
Right.
And you would have lost £25,000. You still go away with that handsome cheque. Give him a big hand. £75,000. Well played, matey. Enjoy that. Enjoy it. It's a pleasure to meet you. Take care. 75 grand. Good man. £75,000 better off. Right. We've now got 10 brand new contestants who all applied to be on the show by phoning our Millionaire hotline. I'll give you the number later on. They're all hoping they've got the quickest wits and the fastest fingers. We'll find out. But let's meet them. They are Mark Dyer from Lancashire, Cahill Magany from Derry, Victor Pickett from Northamptonshire, Rachel Keenan from Oxfordshire, Ashley Handley from South Yorkshire, Wendy Kenny from Norfolk, Martin Riley from Lancashire, John Davis from Gloucestershire, Pauline Allen from South Yorkshire, and Phil Ackerley from Lancashire. Right, serious business then, guys. Fastest finger first. Find out which of our top 10 here will be next to try for that elusive £1,000,000. We'll have one question, 4 answers, only one the correct order. Let's find out who can punch in that correct order in the shortest possible time. No distraction, please, from the audience at this point. I need them to concentrate. Here comes their first question. Put these capital cities in order from north to south. Brasilia, Helsinki, Lisbon, Wellington. Right, let's have a look. 10 started. They don't look so confident now as they were just a minute ago. Let's have a look. This is the right order. Don't forget we're going north to south, so we start up in Helsinki, up in Finland, then down to Portugal, Lisbon, then to Brazil for Brasilia, then down to Wellington, New Zealand. So that's the right order. Now, I'm pretty sure 10 didn't get it right. These got it right. And then let's find out who was fastest. Who was fastest? Ashley Handley in 2.61 seconds. Ashley, it's you. Good man. That's very quick. Right. Ready to play for £1 million? Of course you are. Right, our next contestant is Ashley Handley. He's a student teacher from Thurnscoe in South Yorkshire. He's wanted to be a teacher for as long as he can remember. And with his probationary year nearly completed, Ashley will soon have achieved his dream and he'll be teaching secondary school pupils business and economics. He's single, so he's brought his sister Faye along to hold his hand this evening, whether she wants to hold his hand or not. If he does well on the show, he says he'd like to pay off all his student loans and consider more studies to upgrade his BA in economics to a PhD, but not before buying a new car, helping sister Faye out, and having one great big hell of a party. Good plan. Right. 12 questions, 3 brand new lifelines, £1 million. Ashley, lots of luck. Let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Question number 1 for £500 is this. A measure of the amount of greenhouse gases used to support human activities is a carbon what? Handprint, fingerprint, toe print, footprint.
It's footprint, Chris.
You have £500. Ashley, last point at which you could go home with nothing. I'm sure it won't happen. You have all 3 lifelines. Question number 2 would guarantee you £1,000. Here it comes. The Olympic torch always begins its global journey in which country? Italy, Greece, France, Spain.
Yeah, that's Greece, Chris.
It's the right answer. You got £1,000. No problem at all. But they do get a little bit harder as the money goes up. Ashley now has £1,000. He has all 3 lifelines intact. We'll take a break. Don't go away. Welcome back to the third part of tonight's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Don't forget, £1,000 is still there for any one of you at home who knows the answer to tonight's viewer's question. Quick reminder for you. Referring to quantities of game birds, how many are there in a brace? A, 2, B, 3, C, 4 or D, 5? Text GAME, G-A-M-E, and your answer, A, B, C or D, to 84644. Or you can phone us on 09012 93 1000. And you've still got to the end of the show to get your answer to us. Right, meanwhile, back at Ashley Handley. He's now reached the relative safely of £1,000 and he's got all 3 lifelines. Are you calm?
Reasonably.
How long have you been a teacher?
About nearly a year.
Big kids, little kids, big ones?
Well, I'm in a 6th form college at the moment.
Are they very bright?
Most of them are.
Are they?
They're getting brighter while I'm teaching them.
If you won, and you might, it happens. If you won £1 million, would you carry on teaching?
Oh, absolutely.
Would you?
Yeah. All for the kids, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm just being nosy, really, and I'm not sure that I believe you. OK, right, let's see what happens. You have £1,000. You had 3 lifelines. Question number 3 is for £2,000. Have a look. See what you want to do. With which kind of music is Willie Nelson chiefly associated? Country, jazz, opera, rap.
I would quite like to hear him rap, but I'm fairly sure it's country music, Chris.
Final answer?
Yes, Chris.
It's the right answer. You got £2,000. You have £2,000. Question number 4 is for £5,000. You have not yet touched any lifelines. Here it comes. Elsinore, the setting for Shakespeare's Hamlet, is in which country? Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway.
Something rotten in the state of Denmark, I believe. It's Denmark.
Final answer?
Final answer.
It's the right answer. You got £5,000. Who's oldest, you or Faye?
Faye. by about 3 years.
Do you like her?
Yes.
Okay. Just asking. So, if you win lots of money, gonna give her anything?
I'm sure she's got her eye on something.
Okay, we'll try and help. You have £5,000. You have all 3 lifelines untouched. Have a look at question number 5. This is for £10,000. What kind of creature is a leech? Snail, worm, jellyfish, coral. What's a leech?
That's
Snail?
It's an interesting one, Chris. It looks very much like a snail. It's certainly not coral. I suspect it's not a jellyfish, and I'd be very surprised if it was a worm. So on the basis that it looks like a snail, I'm going to say snail.
Not a worm.
It could be, Chris, but I'm prepared to take that chance.
Final answer.
Final answer.
You had £5,000. Ashley, you've just lost £4,000.
Oh, well. Such is life.
What do you mean, such is life? Such is life. Sorry, mate, it is a kind of worm. Give a big hand, he still goes away with £1,000. I'm really sorry. You're flying.
Not nearly as sorry as I am.
Well, I can imagine. £1,000. So we still have 9 eager hopefuls sharpening their wits and flexing their button-stabbing fingers. Nice and quiet, please, audience. Here comes their next question. Put these TV newsreaders in the order they first read the national news. Angela Rippon, Hugh Edwards, Reginald Bosanquet, Selina Scott. Right, let's have a look. 9 contestants remain. Let's see. This is the right order. And then let's find out who got it right and who was fastest. Bosanquet, Reggie, right back in the 60s when he started. Angela Rippon then in the 1970s, Selina Scott in the 1980s, and Hugh Edwards started in the 1990s. So that's the order. How many got it right out of 9? Let's see. These got it right, only 4. Phil Ackerley was fastest in 3.30. Come on, Phil. Just when you thought you were going to have a quiet night and go home, wouldn't you? Right, come on, you want to play for £1 million?
Okay.
Yes, I'd like to do that, please. Put up, please. Right, this is Phil Ackerley, who's looking at me kind of glazed. He's moved around a bit, including 3 years in Spain, but he currently lives in Lytham St Anne's in Lancashire. He briefly taught maths and games, but for the past 20 years, he's been an IT software consultant. He's married to Louise, there she is up there in the audience. They have 2 sons, 18-year-old Sam and 12-year-old Isaac. Despite suffering from extreme travel sickness, Phil says he'd love to win enough on this show to travel to Australia and New Zealand. He says they'd also like to see the mountain gorillas in Africa, and while he was out there, he might just knock off a charity walk through Namibia, as you do. But his ultimate goal with a really big win would be to say goodbye to the world of IT altogether and open an alpaca farm. Right. 12 questions, 3 brand new lifelines, £1 million is there to be won. Phil, lots of luck. Let's play. Who wants to be a millionaire? Lots to talk to you about. Let's get you up the ladder a bit first. Question number 1 is for £500. Here it comes. Which of these women was famously said to bathe in ass's milk? Joan of Arc, Cleopatra, Boudica, Elizabeth I. Cleopatra. It's the right answer. You got £500. Question number 2 would guarantee you £1,000. It is the last point. You could go home with nothing, but you have all 3 lifelines. I'm sure you won't even need them. Here it comes. In Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, Oliver asks for more what? Bread, gruel, potatoes, milk.
That's gruel, Chris.
Sure?
Yes.
It's the the right answer. You got £1,000. You're going to be all right.
Maybe.
For a big, strong boy, you nearly fainted. You had £1,000. What have you set your heart on? Because you've been talking about leaving IT, travelling the world. I mean, quite a big old shopping list. Moving across to run an alpaca farm. So what sort of money?
Realistically, it'd be brilliant if we could get to 50,000.
Yeah?
Yeah, 250 is the exit stage left with work, I think. That's way off. 50,000 would be nice.
And you could do most of these things, or some of this wish list you've got?
Yeah.
Right, let's get you some money. You have £1,000.
Yes.
You had 3 lifelines. Question number 3 is for £2,000. Here it comes. With which battle is Field Marshal Montgomery most associated? Rorke's Drift, Agincourt, El Alamein, Gettysburg.
El Alamein.
Not Agincourt.
No.
Final answer.
Final answer.
It's the right answer. You have £2,000. I think he'd be quite insulted to think he was serving at Agincourt. Right, you have £2,000. Question number 4 is for £5,000. Here it comes. The word scampi comes from which language? French, German, Finnish, Italian.
Not sure, Chris.
Okay, take your time. French, German, Finnish, Italian. The word scampi comes from one of those for £5,000.
It's not German. And I don't think it's French. I can ask the audience.
You can. Right, audience, first lifeline that Phil's needed. Here's your question. The word scampi comes from which language? Now, A on your keypads is French, B is German, C is Finnish, D is Italian. One of those is worth £5,000. A, B, C or D. All vote now. Ooh, 44%. It's a majority, but it's not huge. Say Italian, 37% say Finnish, 2% German, 17% French. Now, Phil, what you going to do?
I think we'll do 50-50.
Okay. Right, computer, take away 2 random wrong answers. Leave Phil the right answer and the 1 remaining wrong answer. Sometimes it's kind, sometimes it's not. It does mean they're right about French and German. You've only got to phone a friend left. The word scampi comes from which language? Finnish or Italian? 37% Finnish, 44% say Italian. You got £2,000, it's worth £5,000.
I'll phone a friend then.
Okay, now, who would know? Have you mates who would know this?
You won't be expecting this sort of question, but I'll phone John.
Who's he?
He's I've known him since he was 11. He's a bright lad. He's a history teacher from Sheffield.
Sounds
But he's on
ideal.
holiday in Norfolk.
Oh, good, of course he is. Okay, we'll phone him. I just hope he knows it.
Hello?
John,
Yeah, speaking.
Chris Tarrant, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Now, you know why I'm ringing you.
Who is it speaking, please?
It's Chris Tarrant, you're on telly, we're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Brilliant.
Okay, right, good. Now, so you know what's happening then? The very fact that I'm ringing you means that Phil is on the show, he's in the chair, he's doing all right,
Good.
but he's got really bogged down on one particular question.
Right.
John, the good thing for you is that there are only 2 alternatives left. Basically, one is right and one is wrong.
Okay.
All right, mate. Next voice you hear will be Phil's. He'll tell you the
Okay.
question. There are two possible answers. One of them is worth £5,000. All right, mate?
Okay, thank you.
Right, Phil, fingers crossed. Your time starts now.
John, the
Yeah.
word scampi comes from which language? Finnish or Italian?
Italian.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great, John. Thanks very much.
Okay. See you, mate.
Cheers now, John.
You thought Finnish.
Yeah. I'll go for Italian. Final answer.
But you thought Finnish.
I did.
You sure he's right?
No.
Think he's wrong?
No, he's a good lad, John.
It's the right answer. You got £5,000. So, Phil Ackerley is hanging in there. He's on £5,000. The next question is for 10 grand, but he's just used up his last lifeline. We'll take a break. Don't go away. Welcome back to the final part of tonight's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. All Phil here did to get a place on this show was pick up the phone. So why don't you do the same? Give us a call. 09068 444444. As always, calls cost 60p a minute from BT landlines and should last no longer than 2 minutes. Calls from other networks may be higher and from mobiles will be considerably more. For terms and the closing date, check your Millionaire page on www.itv.com. Then, before you know it, you could be facing me from the most sought-after seat in the land. Just like Phil Ackerley here, who's currently on £5,000, but has now used up all his lifelines to get there. And he's looking kind of battered.
Yes.
You were flying, weren't you?
I knew Italian words and I can speak a bit of French and all of that and Spanish.
Yeah.
But I thought it might be one of those, the worm question, like earlier on.
No,
in the
no, no,
programme.
no. And there are no trick questions. And if you think about it, a
Yeah.
leech is kind of like a worm.
Yeah.
Right, come on. We can regroup on this, Phil. Come on, be positive. You have
Yeah,
5,000.
yeah,
What
there
did,
you
what
go.
did Louise tell you before you came away? What was the advice? There's always
Just
something.
relax and just live in the moment. Just do every question one at a time. That's all.
And have you relaxed?
No. Not one bit.
And have you enjoyed the moment? Not a lot. But you still might.
Yeah.
Right, you have £5,000. Question number 5 is for £10,000. You would lose 4 of the £5,000 you have at this moment if you give me a wrong answer. You could double your money. Take your time. You have no lifelines, but have a look and tell me what you want to do. Bradley Wiggins is a top name in which sport? Why are you nodding at me?
I think I know this.
Tell me what you want to see come up on this screen.
Cycling.
Okay. Cycling doesn't come up, panic. Right, have a look. Darts, show jumping, cycling, athletics.
Before I think anymore, cycling, Chris.
Final answer.
Cycling in Italy.
It's the right answer. You got £10,000. See, suddenly the sun's come out. Your whole attitude has changed with one question.
Yeah.
He was gold medalist. I think he won 2 at Beijing.
Good athlete.
So you feel better now. So you still might do your travelling. You could. Well, you got £10,000. You're
Yeah.
talking about charity walk in Namibia. You're talking about going to see gorillas, which is a fantastic experience
Yeah.
in Africa. Just stunning. Okay, right. You have £10,000. Question number 6 is for £20,000. Phil, you've clawed your way up to 10 grand. Do not lose it. If you give me a wrong answer at this point, you would lose 9 of the £10,000 you have at this moment. Okay.
Sure.
You're guaranteed 1,000. You've got 10,000. Nobody will blame you if you walk away with that. But question number 6, you could double your money to £20,000. You're only 2 away from 50,000. Here it comes. Have a look. The musicians. Oh, Mr. Smile again now. Jarvis Cocker and Joe Cocker are both from which city? Newcastle, Birmingham, Sheffield, Winchester.
I went to Sheffield University. Sheffield. Final answer, Chris.
It's the right answer. You got £20,000. What a turnaround. I remember going to Sheffield to see Joe Cocker and the Grease Band.
Yeah.
Right, you have 20... You see, you're so happy now. Look at you. Seconds ago, you look like a man who done 15 rounds with Lennox Lewis about 2 minutes ago. You are on £20,000. Phil, do not get carried away here. You've got 20 grand. You were dead in the water. You got £20,000. The next question is for £50,000. You don't have to play it. You could take 20 grand. But it's worth £50,000, and that would be the minimum amount you would go home with. But give me a wrong answer, Phil Ackerley, and you lose 19,000. OK? And Louise will lock you out. Let's have a look at question number 7. This is for £50,000. Here it comes. Who wrote the political thriller The Devil's Tune, published in 2003? Ian Duncan Smith, Anne Widdecombe, Douglas Hurd, Roy Hattersley. One of those is worth £50,000. You have no lifelines.
Before I came on the show, I said I'd gamble up to 50,000. I'd not read that. I know that Anne Widdecombe's a writer. And I don't think it's the sort of thing Douglas Hurd would write. But I'm not sure about Roy Hattersley. He's written books as well, novels as well. And I don't think it's Ian Duncan Smith. Tempted by Anne Widdecombe.
Yeah. She's been on the show, actually. She came on with Piers Morgan and did very well. You do not have to play this, Phil. It's your call. You have £20,000 at this moment. 3 of those are wrong.
It's not 50-50 even. Split between them two. It's just Anne Widdecombe and Roy Hattersley, I think. No, I'd have to take the money, Chris. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. I do not want you to lose £19,000. I think Louise is about to faint.
No, take the money, Chris. Thank you.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Thank goodness for that. Give him a big hand. Phil Ackerley goes away with £20,000. I will tell you that Louise thinks you would have been wrong about Anne Widdecombe, and the right answer would have been Roy Hattersley.
Yeah. Yeah, he did write something, didn't he? Yeah.
No, she's wrong as well. It wasn't Roy Hattersley. It wasn't Anne Widdecombe. It wasn't Douglas Hurd. It was the one you said, well, it's not him, Ian Duncan Smith.
No.
And if you'd been that little bit braver then, you would have just lost £19,000. Did you do the right thing? He goes away with £20,000. Phil, you're kind of scary. That's all we got time for. It's been a very complicated, epic old night. Earlier on tonight, Paul Harris returned from last time. He only had £2,000. He came back. He turned it into an altogether more appealing £75,000. Ashley Handley got up to £5,000, but then dropped back to £1,000. Phil here turned his fortunes right around and ends the show with £20,000. The lines have now closed on our viewers' game, so please stop calling. You will not be included in tonight's competition. Lines are shut. I will tell you the correct answer to the question. There are 2 game birds in a brace, so the answer is 2A. And if you did say that tonight, you may have won £1,000. So from me, from a very relieved Phil, and even more relieved Louise up there, and everybody here on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, good night.